Hello and welcome to Dingoes Ate My Podcast. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Justin.
And today we're looking at the Unaired Pilot.
It was a thing.
Uh-huh. What happened to Willow?
Well, it's a different actress.
I know it's a different actress, but it's just... Anyway.
We'll get to that.
So, this episode originally aired, never, attracting no viewers.
Well, okay, where did it come from? Why is it here?
So, basically what it was the WB was like, okay, we kind of like the concept on paper, but we want to see what it actually will look like and feel like. So, like, here's some money, go shoot like a 20-25 minute presentation to kind of give us an idea of what the show will be like.
Alright.
And it does feel very much like the first season.
Yeah,
most assuredly.
Very
Like,
much
there are
like
things-
the first episode in a
There are
way.
things that are a little different, like some of the cast is different.
Yeah.
But it does feel very much in line with what the show was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so let's start off. A couple breaks into a deserted school. They walk into the theater stage after, like, kind of going through the school a bit. The girl stops, seemingly afraid that she has heard something. He assures her that there is nothing to be worried about, but Darla, turns toward him with a monstrous face and bites his neck, killing him. Just like in the real first episode.
Yeah, pretty
They
much.
do that swerve, and I love that. Buffy Summers begins her first day at Berryman High School.
Oh, that's a very different high school.
Yes, it is. She meets Principal Flutie, except it's not real Principal Flutie.
Yeah.
It's knockoff generic Principal Flutie.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Who can't seem to remember her name, which is a good gimmick. 10 on 10.
Bunny?
He welcomes Betty, Bambi, Barbie. Meanwhile, Xander arrives and announces he is troubled by mathematics homework. He offers his best friend Willow a shiny nickel in exchange for help. Cordelia and her gang mock Willow's outfit before mocking Xander for daring to speak to them.
I miss Cordelia.
Man, it is.
Wasn't Cordelia just on point? Oh, she's so good. Xander searches for a witty comeback, but is interrupted by Buffy bumping into him and dropping her things. She introduces herself and asks for directions to the library. Xander explains where the library is, and after she walks away, he finds the stake that she dropped. Buffy arrives at the empty 2-floor library and almost bumps into the British librarian, Mr. Giles. She explains she's doing history, but Giles slams down a book on the desk entitled Vampires. She leaves, obviously unsettled. After class, Willow approaches her, offering to help with her studies. Buffy cheerfully accepts. I love the design of this library. It's really cool. I kind of wish that they had stuck with that, because it looks really good.
The spiral staircase could have had a couple interesting things they could have done.
You could do some really cool stuff with that.
But it didn't have the cage.
Yeah, you could have made some bullshit out.
I know. But still, it's funny.
And
that
it didn't
they
have
had
the stacks that the other one did that kind of went like the semicircle, which I like. But I do like the look of this, like having the spiral staircase and like the
couple different floors to the library.
Yeah, it looks cool. The two walk through the school, and Willow admits to a dorky nature. Buffy tries to convince Willow that she's pretty, but Willow won't listen. Buffy asks about the librarian. Willow says that Mr. Giles is new from some British museum. Cordelia et al. Interrupt them, attempting to take Buffy away from Willow. Blue and Aphrodisia talk about the news girl while preparing for gym class. What kind of name is Buffy anyway?
Hey, Aphrodisia.
I love that joke. It's so dumb, but it's so good. What kind of name is Buffy anyway? Hi, Aphrodisia. Fuck. Anyway, are interrupted by a body falling out of the locker. Meanwhile, Xander returns Buffy's steak. Xander then gives Buffy a tour of the school, and he points out the various different social groups. The hosers are gangster wannabes, who are crippled by their upper middle class status. The Panga inbreeds are surfers always looking for the perfect wave. Buffy spots the theater class, whilst both noticing the passing dirty girls, just because they smell. Anyway.
Yeah, no explanation for why they're not the sports girls.
They have theories on hygiene. Xander admits that he doesn't have an affiliation, joking that he's waiting to hear back from the dirty girls. I don't know how much of a joke that really is. Willow approaches Buffy and Xander troubled. She explains about the body in the locker. Once Cordelia confirms the news, Buffy runs off. Buffy once again meets Principal Flutie when he's coming out of the girls' locker room. He immediately apologizes for such events on her first day of school. I have a very strong policy against this.
A strong policy on death and killing.
This usually doesn't happen at our school.
This almost never happens at our school.
It's happening now.
It's so good. Buffy asks to see the body. When she finds the 2 holes in the neck, she heads for the library. And for some reason, the principal's like, "Oh, you want to take a look at the body? Yeah, go ahead." What the fuck?
Yeah, the first one is... Buffy, why would you say that? It's the second one. The principal allows it.
Apparently, this is natural? No, it's not.
Just for whatever reason, he's like, "Yeah, fuck off, go ahead." Mr. Giles is unsurprised by the news. Instead, he is surprised that Buffy seems to be rejecting interest in slaying. She angrily tells him that she loved her life before she knew about her calling, and even loved it for a little time after that. She explains she then lost everything she valued, including her watcher, and now wants nothing to do with it. Xander overhears the conversation in the stacks. That probably won't be important later. That night, Buffy meets Xander outside the Bronze and asks about Willow. Xander says that Willow seemingly has a boyfriend, and Buffy is unnerved. She quizzes Xander about the guy's appearance, and he mentions a Lionel Richie look. Buffy runs off, Xander follows. Willow is shyly hanging around out with the blonde guy. She tells him that she is still troubled by the body found in the locker, but the blonde guy says that he got what he deserved. His face turns into a monstrous form. Or a vampire.
Oh my god!
Xander and Buffy hear Willow screams from the auditorium. Buffy charges in and finds the blonde vamp attacking Willow, and then attacks him. The 2 other vampires emerge. Xander and Willow attempt to escape using a cross to scare the vamps, and dust one. Buffy dispatches the vamps, announcing she is the Slayer. A vampire runs away, and Buffy is left to dispatch the blonde vamp. The next morning, Giles is unimpressed by Buffy's sloppy fighting and the fact that she has allowed others to find out about her secret identity as the Slayer. Her new friends, Willow and Xander, defend her. Buffy is unbothered. Don't sweat it. The world's in beauty hands. Trust me, before flipping a stake into the heart of a Nosferatu poster, like, across the fucking courtyard.
Thank goodness nobody caught that while it was soaring across.
Thank God nobody walked in front of it and, got staked in the head.
Yeah.
She was confident of her aim.
I mean, she did hit it right in the heart. But still. God damn it, Buffy, you could have killed someone.
Maybe, but she's confident with her strength and aim, I guess.
The strength wasn't the issue.
I know, just a random passerby getting in the way or something.
Oh, fuck!
I don't
Sorry,
think they feel
bud.
it.
Alrighty, so what did y'all think of the Unaired Pilot?
It definitely works with all the things, though it's definitely kind of lower budget with what they had to work with.
Well, of
the
course.
dust sequence with one of the vampires, and supposedly there was a liquidation instead if they used a cloth.
I think it's just a really cheap dusting effect, because they don't have money, right? They're doing this on a shoestring.
Yeah, they're doing whatever they can do at the time.
But again, going with the water effect for it.
I mean, I think they only got like $100,000 or something to make this. So it was kind of like, well, shit, things aren't going to look good.
And what year was this made? Like
96.
96. Yeah, so there wasn't going to be too much.
And I mean, this was never intended to make air. Like, this is just a presentation to show the executives for them to go like, okay, here's some more money, go make a bunch of episodes.
Okay, so was there anywhere this was actually released on, like...
No, not officially.
Okay.
So it's been a bootleg on the internet for like 20 years or whatever, but it's never been officially released, and apparently never will be.
Okay.
Because Joss Whedon's gone on record saying he thinks it sucks on ass.
Like, they needed to show them something. It's a miracle we even got the show on air.
I think it's, like, considering that this was probably done very quickly and on a very, like, small budget, it's not bad. Like, if you keep that in mind. And they clearly didn't pay for music or anything. So.
Yeah.
Because, like, they put a disclaimer at the front, like, not cleared for air. Don't get us fucking sued.
And I think just aside from that, Oh, first season cheese.
The first season's so good.
Well,
it had its moments. First season had its moments.
So, let's talk about some of the cast that's a little different in this. Primarily Willow.
Yeah.
Primarily, yeah.
What did you think of the actress playing Willow in this?
It worked.
Because it's not the Willow we're used to.
It was certainly different. I wasn't really thinking like, oh yeah, that's Willow. And I'm like, wait, that's Willow?
So, it's hard for me to say that I prefer her, but I kind of understand that casting. Because, like, they, especially in season 1, they're trying to set off, like, oh, Willow's, like, this unpopular, like, nerdy girl, and I'm like, she doesn't really look like she would be unpopular. Like, this doesn't seem... Like, at least with the actress they've got, I'm kind of like, yeah, I can buy it. She doesn't look like somebody who would be super popular, like in a high school.
Well, I think it's also kind of a case of I'm not sure if it dives into season 2 with this particular stuff, but there's the case of we've been with Willow for a while, mostly seen the nerd sort of thing. Then there's the switch over to the alternate dimension with the vampire Willow, and it's just kind of like, yeah, I can definitely see that sort of thing and her being sort of more popular in that sort of way. And that shift isn't that much of a change for Willow in that sort of case, but with the pilot sort of case, you can sort of see, yeah, nerdy girl kind of fits the stereotype as it is.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the actress who played Willow in this episode, Riff Regan. So, what has she done? Well, she did an episode of Roseanne, she did an episode of Blossom, she did an episode of Fantastic Four, the animated series. She did 72 episodes of a show called Sisters. And then a few other sporadic TV appearances before basically doing nothing after about 2000. So she did an episode of Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. So that's probably the highlight of her career. That's a joke. Because that show was...
So, basically she got out of the acting career after like 2000 or whatever.
Yeah. 2000 is the last credit on IMDb, other than Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which they say the Unaired Pilot aired in 2003.
Yeah, BS.
But it never actually aired, so you know.
Right now.
Also, Principal Flutie is played by a different actor, but he's not terribly important to this. So.
He shows up like twice.
Yeah, he has maybe 2 or 3 scenes. He has some good jokes, and then he's kind of gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought it was a fun little distraction.
Yeah, because now we're going to have to go into the final episode.
Well...
Soon.
We have one more quick stop before we get there.
Really?
See, we've gone back in time to 1996, but...
Are we going back further?
We are.
Oh boy.
See, the thing is, Buffy didn't start as a TV series. It started as a film. A 1992 comedy horror film.
A comedy horror.
That's what they claim it is.
Claim.
Yep. Written by Joss Whedon, directed by somebody you've never heard of. But we're going to watch the movie.
Yeah.
It's got people in it you've probably heard of.
Nah, I wouldn't be surprised.
And Seth Green had a scene that was cut from it.
They had Seth Green in there and then they just cut him out?
Yes. Well, it's 92. Seth Green wasn't like...
Well, so what?
He wasn't a thing yet.
He wasn't much of a thing.
They can make a thing out of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's great, but... I mean, the movie has, like, Christy Swanson and Luke Perry in it. They're gonna cut Seth Green.
Yeah.
Those 2 names are far bigger than him, especially at the time.
Yeah.
So anyway, we will be watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the feature film.
Oh boy.
This takes place in LA before the series.
Alrighty.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a time.
Is this like about Buffy's time in LA when she burns the school or something? Oh.
It's her origin story.
Okay.
And where she finds out that she's a Slayer.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes. So it does get referenced in the series, but we never see those events because they take because the film it's technically not continuity, but they sort of reference it in the series.
Mm-hmm. It's a thing that happened, but within the show and from what the film did, they're separate sort of events.
It's like the same events happened, but they didn't necessarily happen the same way, kind of.
Right.
So that's what we will be doing next week, and it'll be a thing.
Ooh.
Okay.
And then we get to move on to the final episode.
Yeah.
Woo.
So until next time, I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Justin.